All right, if you're thinking about moving to Las Vegas, of course, Summerlin is probably coming up on your list over and over again. But is it the best place to live in Las Vegas? Is Henderson better? What are the pros and cons of living in Summerlin in Las Vegas, Nevada? Well, that is what I'm going to talk about all through this video. So take a walk with me through this beautiful park right here in Summerlin, and we will talk all about it. Are you ready? Sit down and let's go. Hey everybody, it's your host here once again, Dave Baker with VegasAgents.com. And today, of course, we're going to talk about one of my favorite topics, living in Las Vegas, Nevada. Now, if it's your first time on the channel, don't forget, if you want to learn everything about what it's like to live, to work, to eat, to sleep, to play, and one of my favorite things, to get outdoors here in Summerlin in Las Vegas, Nevada, then make sure you tap that little subscribe button and click that little bell. I'm constantly talking to people all about living in Summerlin, Henderson, Vegas, Mountain's Edge, Boulder City, all these different places around here. And I love it. It's something I'm super passionate about. So if you're thinking about moving out here to Las Vegas, you know what you've got to do. You send me an email, you can send me a text message, you can give me a call on the phone 24/7. And the team is standing by ready to help you with your move here to Las Vegas, Nevada. All right, now let's get started and talk about something that's really important, and that is making a pros and a cons list about living in Summerlin in Las Vegas, Nevada. Now, why do we need to make a pros and a cons list? Well, here's the thing. No one place is perfect for everybody, right? So when you watch videos on YouTube or you read about living in Las Vegas, Nevada, or you're thinking of moving anywhere out here, whether it's to Henderson or anywhere else, you probably only see videos and information about why a neighborhood's so great. But I want to make sure that you get a good idea about some of the things that might be great for somebody else, they might be great for you, and some of the things that somebody else might not love, or that you might love. There are so many different factors when you're thinking about moving. So let's get started and start talking first about the pros. Now, I'm going to go over these positive aspects in no particular order. So it's not like one is a bigger pro than the other, unless it is for you. And that's why I make these videos, because it's about finding the place for you that's going to make you happy. So let's talk about why you might want to move to Las Vegas, and specifically the Summerlin neighborhood. Now, just as a quick reminder, if this is your first video and the first time you're learning about Summerlin, remember, it's not Summerland, it's Summerlin, then you should remember that Summerlin is not a city, okay? Summerlin is a neighborhood in Las Vegas. And where is it located? Once again, a quick reminder, it goes up to the west, the northwest area, towards Red Rock. And that's gonna be Red Rock National Park. Of course, Red Rock Casino and Resort is located there too. It's considered a kind of a monument, so that's where it's located. Okay, so let's dive in. The number one thing I want to bring up is that Summerlin is a master planned community. Why is that a big deal? Well, I've actually lived in another master planned community in another state before. And I don't just mean one little neighborhood or one little homeowners association. I'm talking about tons and tons of areas and mile after mile of master planned community. And what that gives you is a predetermined layout for what this area of the city is going to look like, right? So what I'm saying here is you're not going to just see random houses pop up in the middle of nowhere. If you go to older parts of Las Vegas, you see that. And if you're coming from California, if you're coming from anywhere in America and it's not planned and pre-planned and master planned or planned in a certain way, well, then you might see quite a few things that are what I like to call random pop-up buildings. So, I mean, I've been all over the country. I saw them in New Jersey and Pennsylvania. Just a building here, a building there. Didn't really make sense. The layout of how things were designed didn't make sense. But Summerlin is master planned. An example of one of the benefits is what you're seeing behind me right now. We're walking through a park, okay? It's called Fox Hills Park. I love this park, by the way. It's just really nice to walk around. And it has this cool trail, like the one we're walking on right now, between Fox Hills Park and Paseos Park, or Paseo Park. So behind me, you can see you have these nicely laid out trails. You have these nice tables that are available for usage. This was predetermined, this was planned. Behind me again, you'll see many houses that were walking here. These houses were probably planned to be in an area that overlooked the park. It's not just by chance. So they made this huge design and it creates a really great neighborhood. So what do you get in this master plan community? Well, you get some awesome stuff. First of all, like I said, it's well organized. It's easy to travel around in Summerlin. The layout is nice. They didn't have to put the streets down afterwards and make tons of adjustments over and over. You have parks, you have shops, you have one smaller shopping center, and then of course you have the famous downtown Summerlin. A quick reminder again, downtown Summerlin is a shopping center, and it's connected to additional shopping centers, as well as the Las Vegas ballpark, the National Arena, where you have an NHL team practice, the Golden Knights, Vegas Golden Knights, known as VGK around here. And that's all right here. That area, downtown Summerlin, is kind of the center. We could call that the center of the universe of Summerlin. And from there, you have neighborhoods built around it. So you have 250 parks. But let me say that again. There are 250 parks in Summerlin. There are 150 miles of trails and walking paths, such as the one I'm on right now, which I think is just incredible, because these days it's so important to have a neighborhood where you live, where you can walk around, where you can enjoy things if you can't travel, because you might have traveled a lot in the past, and sure, Las Vegas is like the entertainment capital of the world, right? But you still want to enjoy your local neighborhood. So 150 miles of trails, that's going to keep you pretty busy. You also have 26 schools, so there are lots of schools available. If you have children or are planning on it, you want to plan ahead for that type of stuff. You also have numerous golf courses, and for some of you this might be exciting, there's a Frisbee golf course here as well, and that's up at Fox Hills Park. If you've never seen Frisbee golf, it's also called disc golf. It's something fun, and it's not involving golf clubs. It involves Frisbees or discs. So it's a pretty cool little thing. It's a fun family activity. Okay. Next, I want to talk about something unique. Being closer to the mountain, being closer to the Red Rock area, you are getting slightly better weather. So in the summer, it's not as hot here. Okay, today is a beautiful day. I actually want to take a second and show you how beautiful today is. Take a look at the sky. This is another beautiful day in Las Vegas, in one of my 3 favorite seasons. Here's the tip. My favorite season is not summer. You've heard me talk about the weather many times. So when you're thinking about living in Las Vegas, if you want to live somewhere a little cooler, that is going to be advantageous to you. So there's another thing I've been noticing, and I'm not sure this is 100% geological certainty, but when I spend time in Southwest Las Vegas, like towards Southern Highlands, towards Mountain's Edge, there's more wind. Now today is a uniquely windy day, and I thought, hey, what better day to go film a video than a windy day, right? No, I wanted to film it on a beautiful sunny day. But here's the deal. I have noticed in just my own personal experience that I feel it's less windy here. It's something that it might affect you if you like to ride a bicycle, ride a motorcycle, ride a scooter, anything like that, just get outdoors, or you don't want to have to deal with your trees having a potential issue. So I just wanted to mention that. Next, I also wanted to mention that Summerland has many newer developments, many newer homes. A lot of the new developments are in this area, and Summerland is very expansive, okay? It's been planned in phases. Summerland is divided into what they call villages. And if you've seen other master plan communities, such as like if you're moving from Irvine, California, or in many places in Orange County, California, if you're moving from Frisco, Texas, these places have master plan communities, and they have a similar situation going on there with the way things are laid out and predetermined. And that might be why they're built in phases, and we continue to have new developments here. We do have new developments all around Las Vegas, but I did want to mention that you are going to find quite a few new homes here. Additionally, you have options for many different types of homes. You have single family homes, you have townhomes or condos, and you also have stately homes. I'm talking about some significantly large homes. You can also live on a golf course. You can get a view of a trail like this, like where I'm walking right now, which this is a paved path, actually. I wouldn't call it like an off-road trail. And so you do have options for a lot of different types of living. You can get a pool, you can have just a regular backyard, or you can practically have no backyard. And we're gonna dive into that right now as we switch over and we talk about the cons of Summerlin. We have to talk about this. So let's just dive right in here. Number one, this neighborhood tends to be more expensive than other parts of Las Vegas. The Summerlin area has an average median home price that's higher. That doesn't mean that every home here is the most expensive home. Obviously in Henderson, you have McDonald Ranch, you have many, many expensive homes in Henderson. But remember, Henderson is like over 20 miles away. It's not next door. And that's something that might be an issue for people as well. We could call that con number two, depending on where you work. Summerlin might not be ideal for where you work. So while you have many businesses that are in this neighborhood, we have beautiful buildings in the downtown area where you have offices and retail stores. There are office buildings all over Las Vegas. So if you live in a far northwest corner and you're heading up in Summerlin and you had to work in Henderson, that could also be a con for a lot of people. So you're gonna have to pinpoint where you're gonna work unless you work at home, because there are some co-working spaces that are here in the Summerlin area. Okay, so that was number two. Let's move on to number three. The size of the yard or the land that you're going to get seems to be shrinking over time. As prices continue to rise and space gets used up, I have been noticing that there are many developments that have smaller yards. You can still have a pool even in new developments, which is really cool, but that pool might take up your whole yard. Additionally, if you were hoping to get a huge yard with a casita, meaning a second home, like sometimes it's called an ADU or an additional dwelling unit, where you would have a separate entrance on a separate building, maybe a separate garage, which would be really nice. We might see one of those as we're walking down this path. That is going to be harder and harder to get as well. So if you want to have a multi-generational house, it might be a little harder because, again, you're getting less land, you're getting less space, and that's not always an issue. But here's the reality. Because prices continue to climb, as of the time I'm making this video, I understand you might watch this video in the future and prices might be different, the world might be different, who knows? But let's talk about right now. If you wanted to buy a huge backyard, and you want to have a swimming pool and a water slide and a jacuzzi and some other features in your yard, it might be more expensive, and it's getting out of the budgetary range for some people. So that is something to consider as well. But you have to ask yourself this question, right? Why is Summerlin more expensive than other neighborhoods? Well, I mean, there are the famous 3 L's in the industry: location, location, location. And then of course there's supply and demand, right? So people want to live in Summerlin. It comes up all the time. And I think it's important to recognize that. For me, sometimes I think maybe I want a smaller place in a better neighborhood, or, you know, if I want land, what am I willing to give up? Now, if you want like a horse property, that's probably, you know, that's not going to be easy to find. You would have to go to a different neighborhood for something like that. So I definitely wanted to talk about that. That was something that's an issue more and more. But I know a lot of people now don't necessarily care about the size of their yards, and I understand that. It's not really a big deal. Not everyone even wants to maintain a yard. You know, it's a lot of work. Now, as you can see from the desert landscaping, you know that that is not necessarily going to involve grass, right? It's not going to involve a lawn necessarily. And over time, if you are thinking about moving to Las Vegas, you should know that they are trying to do away with lawns and what some people call unnecessary grass. It's something to be aware of. Next on the list, I just want to cover one additional con, and that next item is going to be limited public transportation. If you are thinking that you do not want to own a car and you want to live really anywhere in Las Vegas, including here, well, the reality is you're going to need a car. I can only picture a few scenarios where you could live here in Summerlin and not need a car. You would have to live very close to your work or work from home, And if you need groceries and such, you'll have to live close to the shopping centers where you can get the groceries, right? So you'd have to be able to bicycle, or you would have to be able to maybe take a scooter or some way you want to get there. Maybe you want to walk. But Summerlin can be a little bit hilly, so keep that in mind, okay? It's also a little bit hilly. I'm not sure if that's a big con, but it is a factor for anyone who doesn't want to have a car. I think it's kind of a big deal. So that is my first list I really wanted to talk about with the pros and cons. I want you to be able to make a decision based on understanding, you know, the variety of factors that come into play. Now, overall, to me, I think Summerlin's a great neighborhood. But at the same time, I'm not saying it's the only neighborhood for everybody. It might not even be the only neighborhood I want to live in. And Summerlin's divided into tons and tons of different villages and homeowners associations. So there are a lot of places you could choose from. But here's the deal. If you're thinking about moving out here to Las Vegas and you want to enjoy this, which I love this. First of all, I love this park, by the way. This is great. Are you watching this trail I'm walking on, this path? You're surrounded by beautiful homes. Hopefully you could get one of these homes, but whatever you want to do, that's what our team wants to help you with, okay? We want to help you, first of all, get the ball rolling. Start talking about what you want. If you don't know what you're looking for already, I know some of you out there, you already know what you want, and that's great, congratulations. But if you don't know and you want to get started, you've got to reach out to us because the team wants to fine-tune the place that's for you, right? You want to say, okay, you want this, this, and this. We've laid it out, now let's find it. So all you have to do is reach out to us to get started. You can send me an email, you can send me a text message. I know you love to text message. Give me a call on the phone, or if you're ready, you can schedule a time to chat in the link below. I have a scheduler available so you can get on the calendar and we can get in touch with you. Now, before I go, I want to remind you, leave a comment below and tell me what you're looking for when you're looking for a house. What neighborhood are you looking for? What features do you want? Tell me all about it. All right, everybody, until the next video, I can't wait to talk to you again. Take care.